In this problem, we need to find the domain of the radical function f of x equals the square root of 20 minus 4x. So for domains, what I'm interested in are all the real values of x I can put in this function and get a real answer for f of x. Well, do we ever get answers that aren't real from a square root function? Yes. When the radicand, that's the guy that lives under the square root, is negative, the square root of a negative number is an imaginary number. So what I want to do is avoid that. So I have to say that my radicand can't be negative. And the way we say it can't be negative is we say it has to be greater than or equal to 0. So now I have an inequality here. What type of inequality is it? What's the degree on the x? It's a 1, so it's a linear inequality. And let's look at the rules for solving linear inequalities. We solve them just like a linear equation in one variable, except if you multiply or divide the inequality by a negative number, notice negative, it reverses the inequality symbol. The other one is if you interchange the two sides of the inequality, it reverses it. So we need to remember that when we solve our little linear inequality here. So to get x by itself, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 20 from both sides. Is that going to change the inequality symbol? No. Adding and subtracting any numbers from an inequality will not reverse the inequality symbol. So I get negative 4x is greater than or equal to negative 20. Now what do I need to do to get the x by itself? I'm going to have to divide both sides by a negative number. So remember, when you divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, it reverses the inequality symbol. So my greater than or equal to becomes less than or equal to. So that's the important step to remember, that you're going to reverse the inequality when you divide both sides by negative 4. Okay, so what does that give me? X is less than or equal to negative 20 divided by negative 4 is positive 5. So I've solved my linear inequality, and now all I need is to put it in interval notation. So let's graph it to start with. Here's 5. I need to be less than or equal to, so I've got a shade to the left. And what do I put on the 5? Since it is less than or equal to, it includes the endpoint, so I use a square bracket on the 5. So what does my interval notation look like? Where's this pointing? Negative infinity. You have to put parentheses on negative infinity and positive infinity. So it is parentheses negative infinity, comma, 5, and there's a square bracket on the 5.